Hello, welcome once again. I'm Dr. Cedric Wood. Thank you for joining me here at my Saturday afternoon taping. Once again, I have something I want to talk about. Tonight, I'm thinking about the city of Dallas and our tremendous increase in violence in our city. The murder rate is up higher than it was last year, and it was highest than it had been in years last year. So we were trying to get the rate down as we went into 2020. We have failed at that. Dallas Morning News is doing what it can to report the shootings. They had a horrific piece in the Friday paper. That was yesterday, the 27th of November, 2020. And it talked about two brothers that were killed less than 24 hours apart. Their family is suffering and grieving. And opinion piece talked about the increase of law enforcement. We need to get those policemen out there into the streets to stop these crimes. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm in favor of that. But how long are we going to talk about what we're going to do to stop the criminal right before they shoot somebody, or drive drunk and kill somebody, or walk into a school and shoot a number of students like we've seen over and over again? How long are we going to try to stop these acts from happening? Well, I hope we never stop. But the discussion needs to include what leads to this act of violence. Where does it come from? What almost no people that are interviewed on TV talk about is the developmental aspect of these horrible acts. Every single one of these young people who carry a gun around and shoot and kill somebody like they did Mo 3, the rap artist, just a couple of weeks ago, shot dead on our expressway going south of town. Horrible. And then another one was killed soon thereafter. And a month or two ago, there were 5 murderers over one weekend. This person was shot. These 2 people were killed. It's horrific. And the mayor and the chief of police, of course, they are saying we've got to do something about this. Great, we do need to. But we're completely ignoring the most important piece of the process of ameliorating this situation. What is that piece? It's the child's development. Not a single one of these shooters had a healthy, happy, and safe childhood. Not one. Well, Dr. Wood, have you gone and investigated their lives? I don't need to investigate their lives. We know they did not have a happy, safe, warm, loving childhood by their adult behaviors. Those 2 things go hand in hand. When is the public going to get it? I'll tell you when they're going to get it. Is when the TV stations and or the radio stations decide to start running programs teaching the public about child development, healthy personality development, and healthy parenting. When are we going to roll up our sleeves and get to work? And of course, an important part of this could be Dallas Independent School District and every other school district around the area that would require for each and every high school student a class in mental health. Oh, well, we already have that. My high school offers psychology classes. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm in favor of psychology classes. I recommend that every student takes one. But what I hear over and over from the young people who report they had a psychology class is that they either slept through it, it was so boring, they don't remember anything, or they remember one aspect about it that was interesting, like hypnosis. Wasn't that interesting? We learned about hypnosis. Again, I'm in favor of that. But that's not going to stop the shootings. We need a class in mental health, which describes how teenagers can get their needs met from mom and dad. How to talk to your parents about getting your needs met. Now, even if I did that, we would be way behind the 8 ball, because the class would also include information to those teenagers about how to be a parent when they grow up and become parents. Oh, we did that, I just heard the other day. Yeah, I had to take home a baby, and I thought I heard my niece say an entire week or maybe a whole weekend. I had to take care of a mechanical baby and change it and rock it, and I got a grade for that. Wonderful. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about learning healthy communication with a toddler, with a small child, with a middle-aged child, and with teenagers. Just like the ones in front of us, how should parents be talking to these teenagers that would be in this class? It would be very interesting to teach that class. But I would be approaching it from the point of view of helping these kids when you have teenagers in about 20 years. How are you going to deal with that teenager and talk to that teenager and make the healthiest relationship possible so that that teenager can have a healthy, happy ego and mindset, so that they won't be interested in carrying that gun with them in their holster, in their belt, over to the party, over to the gathering, over to the restaurant. Why are these kids carrying guns with them? I never gave it one thought when I was a teenager, when I went out on a date or went to a party, to make sure I got my revolver in my belt over here. Are you kidding me? Disgusting. Why is that happening? Because of mom and dad aren't there for those children. I'm sorry if I seem a little angry. You're going to be angry when one of your family members gets murdered out in front of their quiet suburban home, or as they jog down a path. Both of those happened here in Dallas. Thugs drove up to them and shot them dead. So it doesn't just happen on the south side of town and in gang involvement. It's happening randomly. And if it happens to you, you're going to be angry. Won't you support me in supporting this year's group of senators and representatives to introduce a bill in the spring of 2021 that would mandate in every high school an entire semester on these mental health aspects. It would be 4 sections. Number 1, healthy personality development. How does that happen? That dovetails with healthy child development, right? Number 2, healthy relationships. You've got a girlfriend, you've got a boyfriend. How do you make it healthy? You'll be married someday. How do you make that relationship healthy? Number 3, healthy parenting. Again, if you're going to have children, are they going to be bullies when they're 10 years old on the playground? Or are they going to be carrying around guns when they're 20 and shooting somebody they're angry at? That's up to you, mom and dad. And we need to tell that to every 17-year-old in the state of Texas and beyond. It's up to you. If these kids do these things, if they have school failure, if they have suicidal thoughts, if they're depressed, if they're getting involved in shenanigans late at night, if they're getting involved in gangs, if they're carrying guns around, if they're committing acts of robbery or fraud of some kind, that's on you, mom and dad. Oh, I've done the best I can. I was told by my psychiatrist that it's a neurological imbalance, that I shouldn't feel guilty. Okay, maybe 1 in 20 children have had something happen to them that's not directly the parent's fault. But the other 19 is because the parents were not watching and caring and nurturing and providing a warm and safe environment for that child to grow up in. I'm sorry. Do you want me to go through the list of authors? Hundreds of authors who say the same thing. So we need to be gently taking care of the parents' feelings. We don't want to hurt them too badly, but we need to have a TV show that gently instructs them on how to be the best parent they can be, to prevent all the ills of society all the way up to the last, and that is homelessness. I work with homeless men and women. They're in the psychiatric hospital where I work, and they have no place to live. They're 20, they're 40, they're 60, they're 70, and they have no place to live because something went very wrong during their lives. Most of the time, there's drugs and alcohol, but that can be traced back to not having a safe and healthy childhood. Don't you want your kids to grow up safe and healthy and happy and sober and clean and successful at school and at the job and through marriage? It's up to you. You have to learn healthy parenting. And the adults of the city of Dallas, that includes me, we need to step up and get a TV show on all of the TV stations, preferably on some aspect of child development, healthy relationships, and healthy parenting. And that's going to be the ultimate answer to this high number of murders and criminal activity in the city, because each and every one of those young people can trace this interest in this kind of behavior back to unhappy childhoods. When are the adults of Dallas going to wake up? When are the mental health professionals of Dallas going to wake up? We should all be bound together. But I have found that the professional organizations aren't really that interested. Texas Counseling Association, Texas Psychological Association, Texas Association of Marriage and Family Therapy. They're just not into that. They're not into prevention. They're looking out for their license and what they get paid. I'm sorry, I've been involved in all three of those organizations, and I do not see a movement of somebody saying, let's go down and lobby in the spring of 2021 and get senators and representatives on board to pass the legislation mandating this kind of class in high school. We will make Texas a much safer and healthier state to live in if we'll do that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Let's join together to make this happen. I'm Dr. Cedric Wood. I'll see you next time.